Gods and goddesses gather around. Welcome to Mythology and Makeup. I'm Vanessa, and I am thrilled to share my passion of mythology with you while I get ready for the day. Let's uncover the fascinating stories of mythology together, from Athena's wisdom to the captivating stories of the Muses and everything in between. So grab your brushes and a mirror, and let's unleash the beauty and magic within. Happy Saturday, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe. Welcome back. Last week we left off with Phaedra. So let's get back into some of the mortals and heroes. We're going to start off with a really well-known hero today. And that hero is Hercules. Hercules is best known by his Roman/Latin name Hercules, but he was a hero of the ancient Greek, one of the most famous. Eventually the Romans took the name Heracles and changed it to Hercules and made him also one of their most important heroes. And this is why Hercules is more widespread known than Heracles, because Heracles is older than Hercules. The Greek Heracles is said to have sacked Troy way before the Trojan War. He was the son of Zeus and a mortal woman named Alcmene, and was by far the strongest of all the heroes. There are numerous instances of Hera punishing those involved with Zeus, but in this case, this is legendary. Most of the trials he faced were a direct result of Hera's attempts to destroy him, just for simply being Zeus's son. She put in way more effort into punishing Heracles than she did with any other of Zeus's women that he decided to cheat on her with. Heracles was involved in a number of heroic quests and battles. He helped the Olympian gods defeat the giants. He saved Theseus from the underworld and sacked Troy a generation before the Trojan War. But he is most famous for the 12 labors. The 12 labors came about from a tragedy. Heracles was named to a woman named Megara. And this is where Disney got the name from Meg. They had 3 children. Hera, however, drove him mad, and he killed all of them. And once it was done, his madness faded away like it had never happened. He was just left with the guilt of his actions for slaughtering his entire family. He sought guidance from the oracle, who told him that he needed to seek purification from the king Eurystheus. But Eurystheus was being controlled by Hera, who was forever punishing Heracles just for being Zeus's son. So he assigned Heracles 12 labors. The first labor, Heracles was sent to kill the Maenad lion, which couldn't be pierced by any weapon. But fortunately, Heracles' strength allowed him to choke the lion to death. The second labor, he had to kill the Hydra, a monster with many heads, who grew 2 heads every time you cut one off. You know the scene in Hercules where Hades has panic and pain disguised as little boys, and Meg comes to Hercules and says, "Help, help, there's boys trapped. They're trapped. You have to come save them." And Hercules goes and saves the boys, and out comes a long looking snake thing. Yeah, it's one of those monsters. Eventually, Hercules was able to castrize each neck when its head was removed, preventing it to regrow another head. So he was able to defeat it. The third labor, Heracles was sent to bring back a stag with antlers of gold sacred to Artemis. This took Heracles an entire year to do. But you know, it's Heracles, so he also succeeded in that labor. In the fourth labor, he was sent to capture the Erymanthian bull, who was a monstrous boar terrorizing the region. And you know, Heracles trapped it like it was nothing. The fifth labor, Heracles was forced to clean the Argian the Argan stables in one day. This was a very different kind of labor. These stables hadn't been cleaned in ages. Hercules had to divert multiple rivers and flood them in order to clean them. But, got that task done like it was nothing. Let me just dig a hole. Trenches. And let's move this river down here, flood these stables, get them all washed out and cleaned. The sixth labor, Hercules had to drive away the Stymphian birds, a flock of birds causing great trouble. Athena helped him with this task, and they completed it. In the seventh labor, he had to capture the creation bull. He succeeded and released it into Marthion, where it became known as the Marthian bull, which is later captured by Theseus. In the eighth labor, Hercules had to capture the man-eating horses of Diomedes. This was a piece of cake for him. He killed them and then captured the horses. In the ninth labor, Hercules was told to bring back the war belt of Hippolyta, the queen of the Amazonians, which I just mentioned in my last video about what happened while Hercules was there. The 10th labor, Hercules had to capture the cattle of Geryon, a monster with 3 bodies. The 11th labor, now this one was a little bit tricky. Hercules had to bring the king the golden apples from the Hesperides. Hercules did not know where to find them. He traveled and eventually found them with the Titan Atlas, the father of Hesperides, who ended up helping Hercules obtain the apples. Now, the 12th and final labor, and in my opinion, the hardest one. Hercules had to retrieve Cerberus from the underworld, where he also saved Theseus. He could have left Theseus there, really, to be honest. After Hercules completed these 12 labors, you would think, he would be able to kick his feet up and relax a little. But no. He spent the rest of his life completing a host of other heroic quests. And before his death, he was made into a god and went to Mount Olympus, where he married Phoebe, the goddess of youth, the daughter of Hera and Zeus. So, he just married his half-sister. What a lovely time. Next is Perseus. He is the son of Zeus. In the way that Zeus impregnated Perseus' mother, Danae, is one of the most interesting ways a woman got pregnant in Greek mythology. See, Danae was imprisoned by her father. And because the oracle had told him that that one day her son would overthrow him, he threw her up in prison and just imprisoned her, just kept her locked away. You will not marry, you will not have a child, I will not be overthrown. But, Zeus, being Zeus, saw her and was like, I like the way this mortal woman looks. She's very pretty. I must have her. So Zeus transformed himself into a shower of gold. Yeah, a shower of gold just rained down on her. She became pregnant. Just, just imagine just being locked away in this tower and it just starts raining gold, and the next thing you know, you're pregnant. Crazy. After she gave birth and her and Perseus were able to escape, they thought this would fix their issues. They thought they were free and able to live life. Absolutely not. Nope. When they escaped, they found themselves in a kingdom ruled by Polydectes, the man that wanted to marry her. Polydectes was even more fucked up than Zeus. So when Polydectes was trying to get with Danae, Perseus saw through his charm and deceitfulness and convinced his mother against getting with him. And this pissed Polydectes off. So he decided that he was going to attempt to kill Perseus. So he sent him to bring back the head of the Gorgon, Medusa. This would not be easy. Not only was Medusa hiding far, far away from the praying human eyes, she also had snakes for hair and turned men into stone at one single glance. Polydectes was sure that Perseus would die and leave him to marry his mother. Thankfully, Athena was there to help Perseus and lend him a helping hand. She provided him with everything that he needed to find Medusa and bring back her head. She gave him instructions on where exactly to go. Perseus would take a trip to visit the Graii. When I looked up the pronunciation for this word, it gave me 3 different ways to pronounce it. So we're just going to go with Graii. They were 3 old and very haggard women who shared one eye and one tooth between all 3 of them. And since they knew how to get to the Garden of the Hesperides, where Perseus would be able to find the weapons that Athena told him about, that he could use to kill Medusa, the Graii were a little wary of helping Perseus, so he decided that he was going to take their one eye and one tooth and hold it hostage until they decided to be helpful. Give me what I want and I will give you back your things that you need. Once he made it to the garden where the golden apples grew, he was given 2 weapons, one a sword from Zeus and a shield from Athena, and a bag to put Medusa's head in. Once he reached Medusa, he was able to use the shield as a mirror, keeping track of her without looking her in the eye. He quite easily removed the woman's head and brought it back to Polydectes. But once Perseus cut off Medusa's head, from her neck sprung a young man named Chrysler and the famous flying horse Pegasus. On Perseus's journey back to Polydectes, he stopped in Ethiopia, in Africa, where he met the princess Andromeda. Andromeda was going to be sacrificed to a sea monster in penance for her mother. See, her mother was bragging that Andromeda was more beautiful than the goddesses. And you know what happens when mortals do this. So she was made to sacrifice her daughter to pay for what she had said. Perseus found Andromeda chained to a rock awaiting the monster. Perseus cut off the head of the monster the same way he did with Medusa and married the newly freed Andromeda. Together they traveled back to Polydectes, where Perseus presented the man Medusa's head as planned. This reveal transformed Polydectes instantly to stone and freed Perseus and his mother. Now let's learn a little bit about Medusa. Medusa was one of the 3 Gorgon sisters. The other two were named Steno and Uriel. They were the daughters of the sea monster Ceto and the sea god Perseus. Medusa was the only mortal one out of the three. According to early Greek mythology, Medusa was a monster born of monsters. But this isn't always the case, and in later Roman times her story developed and changed as they were often described as winged monsters covered in snakes with enormous teeth who lived near the equally monstrous Graii. According to later mythology, Medusa was a very different character. She's still famous for her snakes, though, and turning men into stone with one look, but she was depicted as more of a woman than a monster in later, more detailed interpretations of Medusa. Those traits were intended as curses placed upon her, told by the Roman poet Ovid. But one of the most tragic stories in classical mythology, and this is where the Greek and Romans kind of start to blend together in a lot of stories, because it's hard to do one story about a character when it's mainly Roman. When the series that I'm doing right now is about Greek mythology, not Roman mythology. So I'm going to save the story about Medusa being a woman instead of a monster for when I do Greek mythology. In early Greek mythology, the writer said that Medusa was assaulted by Poseidon, making this detail one of the most ancient interpretations of her story. The image of the Gorgon specified the head of Medusa was used as the protection in the Greek and ancient Greece and Rome. This imagery was especially important in Sicily, where the Gorgon is part of the region's official flag. I'm going to finish this eyeliner look off camera because I've tried in my last two videos to do my eyeliner one eye on camera, and it's very difficult to do. So I will be right back with my eyeliner done. Alright, I'm back. I added some gems on this side, so I'm going to add some gems on this side and decide if I want to add more than just one row. So, next is Jason, a hero and the prince of Locus, whatever. He is best known for his ship and his quest in the woman that he married. He was the captain of the Argo, the ship that the group called the Gargantuans took on the quest for the Golden Fleece. The Gargantuans included the hero Atalanta, the twins of Castor and Paula, and Polydeuces, Orpheus, Theseus, and even Hercules himself. These heroes were more well known than Jason, but perhaps even more famous was his wife, the witch Medea. Jason was rightfully the prince of Locus, but his father was removed from the throne by his brother and Jason's uncle, Perseus. When Jason was a child, he was hidden away, only to return as an adult with a missing sandal. A one-sandaled man had been foretold to bring the downfall of Perseus. So when he saw Jason's return, he immediately sought to have him killed by sending him on a quest to bring back the Golden Fleece. This fleece was from a sheep with the fur of literal gold. And what is with this sending on quest to kill someone and they never die? They got to come up with better thing. Like, why don't they just kill them? Like, obviously these quests aren't working. If you wanted them dead that bad, just kill them. Like, oh, I know this is going to kill him. So I'm just gonna send him on this journey. And then they come back with what they with what they were sought out to get. Jason was excited and eager to have taken on this heroic quest, even though Pallas knew it was almost impossible to achieve. Jason's like, me, yeah, I'll do it, yeah. Send me on my way. I got you, bruh. I got you, let me go do this. I know I got it. He called out all around Greece, seeking the bravest heroes to set sail with him. Heroes from all around came, and the group set out to sail. Their first stop was Lemos, a city with only women. The women of this island had killed every man on it, and now they were living peacefully. They were sick of the men. So they're like, we're just going to get rid of you. Kill them all. Oh, stuff is so stringy. I should probably get some new glue. When they arrived at this island, they were a little scared of these women, but the women welcomed them, gave them food, a nice place to sleep, and, just were really sweet and nice to them. In the morning, when they woke up, they set off onto their next stop. And when they reached the next island, sorry, these gems just keep falling. When they reached the next island, they lost Hercules and his lover and friend, Hyas, who had been taken by some nymphs. Hercules wouldn't stop looking for her, so the Gargantuans were like, bro, find your girl, we're leaving. We're leaving. They encountered lots of monsters on their journey before finally reaching Colchis. This is where they hoped to find the Golden Fleece. They spoke with the king Aeetes, who also introduced them to his daughter Medea. When he introduced his daughter to them, he had no idea why they were really there. Once Jason told Aeetes what he was there looking for, this pissed him off. But since he had already welcomed them as his guest, he couldn't show how pissed off he was. So instead, he gave Jason some more impossible tasks to complete in order to kill him. This just doesn't end well for people. Why are we trying to kill people and giving them tasks? Just kill them, man. I don't understand. I'm gonna try something. So, Jason, before he started the task, there was a spell had been placed upon Medea, making her fall in love with Jason. So with the help of Medea, he was able to complete each task that Aeetes had given him, with each one being more dangerous than the last. Finally, with the help of Medea and the Gargantuans, were able to steal the Golden Fleece from Aeetes and escape, bringing Medea and her brother with him. She had she had a plan for her brother. Okay? So, once Aeetes realized what was going on, he was pissed. He's like, what the hell? What the hell? So he hopped on his ship and started to follow the Jason and everyone, right? So he gets on his ship. He's chasing after him. Medea sees this. She grabs her brother and pulls him up to the ship where her dad can see, right? And slits his throat. Just slits his throat. Then she proceeds to chop him up into as many pieces as she could to distract her father even more. Like, what the hell? This girl is crazy. This girl is crazy. So this slowed down Aeetes because he had to stop and pick up every little piece of his son that was floating in the water. Like, he couldn't just leave his son in the water. What kind of father would he be? What kind of father would he be? I'm trying to make a little spider on my face. Okay. So, today we learned about some of the, most famous heroes. And most of them, were just trying to be killed by other people. Mostly men trying to kill men, Oh, I'm going to finish the spider off camera. I'll be right back. Okay, well, the spider web thing did not work. It was not working. I mean, the spider dripping down from the spider web. Yeah, that was not it. Not it at all. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for watching my videos. It's always nice to see the likes and comments on all my videos. I really appreciate it. You guys should let me know if you want me to make another video just about Hercules and go more in depth on every single labor instead of doing a small little cliff note on it. If you want me to do that, go ahead, just leave me a comment down below and I will definitely do that. I will also do that the same thing with like different characters that I've already talked about. If you want me to go more in depth on them, I will. Because most of all the characters and stuff that I just do like cliff notes on them. But I can definitely do a whole video on just one person. One god, one hero, one mortal, whatever. If you guys want. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And thank you guys again so much for watching all of my videos. I love seeing your guys' comments and likes and stuff. But that brings us to the end of our video today. How's the look? Do we like it? I like it. I know it's not Halloween, but I love doing things like this. So I hope you guys have a great Saturday. Can't wait to see you guys next week with my next video. Bye, guys.